So I am baffled, absolutely baffled, by this administration's talk around trade deficits. Thank you, Chairman Rogers. Thank you, Ranking Member Meng. Thank you, Ranking Member DeLauro. And thank you to you, Secretary Lutnick. Thanks for being here today. I want to pick up on what Mr. Morelli was talking about, and I'll use the word stability. And I think you know this from your many years in business. And that's what I thought about as I was preparing for today. The importance of stability, or as he said, predictability. Stability is the foundation of economic growth. I think you've lived it. Businesses need clear and predictable rules to plan and to invest for the future. Given this administration's claim of being pro-business and pro-growth, I am so baffled by the discussions around trade deficits and the president's belief around trade deficits and the president's beliefs around tariffs and the chaotic tariff policy. They're on, they're off. Many of the tariffs are punishing, creating a level of instability and uncertainty in our economy that we haven't seen since COVID. I hear the same thing over and over from constituents, from small businesses, from bankers in my area. They can't figure out how to plan, how to lend. Businesses can't figure out how to expand, how to grow, whether to hire, whether to not hire. And I'd heard just literally this morning from a very large American retailer. First word out of the woman's mouth was uncertainty, and the last thing she said to me was uncertainty, all surrounding tariffs. The lack of predictability. I also serve on the Foreign Affairs Committee, was recently in UK and Denmark, met with the American Chamber in both countries. Confused, uncertain, they can't figure it out. What in God's name is going on? We cannot plan to grow businesses. We cannot.
Hello viewers, welcome back to the channel, where we stand up for truth, liberty, and the American worker. Now listen, I just watched a congressional clip that made me want to slam my coffee mug on the desk. And believe me, I love my coffee, so buckle up. Folks, today we're breaking down a recent House hearing where a Democrat lawmaker goes off on tariffs, trade deficits, and President Trump's America First trade policy. And let me tell you, it's the perfect example of how out of touch the left is when it comes to putting America first. First off, she keeps using the word stability like it's some magic spell. Stability this, predictability that. Look, I get it. Businesses want consistency. But what about national security? What about economic sovereignty? You know what's really unstable? Being completely dependent on China for our critical goods. You know what's unpredictable? Letting foreign governments control our supply chains. The speaker acts like tariffs are some kind of economic doomsday. Viewers, tariffs aren't chaos. They're a tool, a strategic weapon in economic warfare. You know who loves it when we don't use tariffs? China. You know who profits when we ignore unfair trade deals? Globalists.
Not plan to grow growth and jobs. So I am baffled, absolutely baffled, by this administration's talk around trade deficits and tariffs. I fear the administration lacks a basic understanding of what a trade deficit is. I think many economists take issue with equating a country's trade deficit with any one country and its economic well-being. Some economists actually view a trade deficit as a sign of a country's economic health because it means we're purchasing more. For me, I have a pretty large trade deficit with my local grocer or my hairdresser. It's a good thing. It means I have money enough to get my hair done once in a while and to keep food on the table. It tells nothing about my overall financial position. Do you know when this country actually had a trade surplus, Secretary?
The president likes to speak about before.
No, historically. When did we have a trade surplus? I'm not talking about the president. Historically.
I think early, about 100 years ago.
It was the Great Depression. It was a sign of what was going on. It was during the Great Depression. That's a direction none of us wants to go. Tariffs. It's 90 days. We're going to have 90 deals in 90 days. Then there's a 90-day pause. Many of these tariffs, as they say, punishing. Tariffs on things that make no sense whatsoever. Where are we going to go with the remaining deals? I know of one deal that has been apparently resolved with the United Kingdom. We got 89 more deals to do in just a few more days. Where are we on those deals?
We are in the midst of negotiations with dozens and dozens of countries. We could sign deals, but they're only going to get better as we negotiate them.
That's just simply not true. Because as I told you, the American...
Actually, I promise you it's true because I'm doing it. So I promise you it is true, and I'm here testifying in front of you, and I promise you it's true.
And Mr. Trump promised to bring down the cost of goods day one. And what he has done through his trade deficit fixation and his tariff chaos has nakedly increased the cost of goods. The estimates are that for consumers in my area, suburban Philadelphia, $2,000 at least a year increases on goods. I'll give you an example of one. Bananas. What's the tariff on bananas? Americans, by the way, love bananas. We buy billions of them a year. I love bananas. What's the tariff on bananas?
The tariff on bananas would be representative of the countries that produce them.
And what's that tariff?
Generally 10%.
Correct, 10%. Walmart has already increased the cost of bananas by 8%.
But as countries do deals with us, that will go to zero. As countries do deals with us, that will go to zero.
But the cost is on the American consumer now and on the businesses with the confusion now. Mr. Secretary, I believe you know better. I believe you recognize that a trade deficit is not something to fear. I believe you know that predictability, stability is essential for businesses. I wish you would show that truth to this administration. And I yield back.
Time of the gentlelady is expired.
Would you mind, Mr. Chairman, if I make one quick comment to the end? Would that be okay?
I'm sorry?
Would you mind if I make one quick comment to the representative?
Sure. Please.
There's no uncertainty if you build in America and you produce your product in America, there will be no tariff.
We can't
so
produce
the concept
bananas in
of
America.
Building in America and paying no tariff is very, very clear.
We cannot build bananas in America.
Time of the gentlelady has expired.
Now, she goes off about how trade deficits don't matter. Says she has a trade deficit with her hairdresser. Cute analogy, right? But let's be real. Personal spending is not the same as national trade. When America buys way more from other countries than we sell to them, we're losing leverage. We're bleeding jobs. We're outsourcing production. And the left calls that a sign of strength? Please, and get this. She says we had a trade surplus during the Great Depression, so apparently trade surpluses are bad. That's like saying umbrellas cause rain because people only use them when it's wet. Trade policy alone didn't cause the depression, and throwing out basic economic tools like tariffs won't prevent another one. Here comes the real meat of her rant. Surprise, surprise. Attacking President Trump. She claims Trump's tariffs caused prices to go up. Let me ask you something, patriots. Would you rather pay a few cents more for goods now, or lose our manufacturing base and beg foreign powers for the essentials later? These people talk like saving $2 on bananas is more important than creating jobs in Ohio, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. I don't know about you, but I'd rather see a steel mill running than a container ship full of Chinese junk pulling into a port. And this is where Secretary Lutnick, God bless him, hits back with facts. He says there is no uncertainty if you build in America. Bingo. That's the whole point, folks. You want zero tariffs? You want total control over your product? Build it here. Make it here. Hire Americans. Of course, the lawmaker mocks him by talking about bananas. Yeah. We can't grow bananas in Iowa. That's true. But this isn't about bananas. It's about everything else. From semiconductors to pharmaceuticals to machinery. We can make that here. And we should. Here's the big picture, friends. The left wants to make you think that globalism is inevitable. That we just have to accept being a consumer nation forever. That free trade, which isn't really free, is the only way to grow the economy. But you know better. We know better. A strong America starts with a strong economy. And a strong economy starts with production, manufacturing, jobs for Americans. And yes, that means being willing to use tariffs and trade leverage to protect our industries. Trump understood that. He brought back the conversation about trade and made it central to national policy. And now these globalist elites are panicking because they know we're waking up. So don't buy into the panic. Don't be fooled by these banana analogies and fake economic arguments. Stand up for America's future. Support leaders who believe in fair trade, strong borders, and American jobs. And if you're watching this and you agree, hit that like button, subscribe, share this with someone who still thinks tariffs are scary. Because the only thing scary is what happens if we keep selling out our nation for cheap goods. Up until the next episode. Bye for now.